Welcome to another episode of TMI Tuesdays, the women's health podcast where nothing is off limits. I'm Lauren, your new favorite vagina, aka women's health physio, and I'm here to have honest, practical, and unfiltered conversations about women's health across every stage of life. If you enjoy this episode, I'd absolutely love it if you subscribed on Spotify and shared it with someone who might also benefit. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get started. Hello and welcome back to TMI Tuesdays. I'm Lauren and I am joined today by Jacqueline Alexander. Jacqueline is a jump rope coach and co-founder of Jump Rope Vancouver, Vancouver's first jump rope meetup community. She's also the creator of Jump Rope Remix, which is a musically driven class designed to help adults build cardio and coordination by jumping to the beat. Today, we are going to chat with you all about jump rope or skipping, as some of you like to call it. We're going to go through some of the big misconceptions and fears around it. We'll get into why so many women feel hesitant to jump, how jump rope is often taught in ways that can feel intimidating. Cough, double unders, right? And how it might actually support things like bone density and pelvic health when approached differently. So welcome, Jacqueline.
Yes.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Lauren. It's so nice to be here. I'm so excited that you have this podcast. I'm so excited to learn what you do. It's going to be a fun chat. I'm excited.
We've known each other since university. Why don't we start there? We went to UBC together.
We went to UBC. So we studied in the library a long time together, and I always admired your study and work ethic. And it's so exciting that you specialize in such a cool area of physio. And it really inspired me to reach out to you and to talk to you and reconnect, because pelvic floor health comes up so much in jump rope. It just... People are worried about it. They're worried. Women, they're worried about, oh my God, I can't jump because I might pee. They're worried. They don't want to jump rope. And jump rope is so fun. It's not what people think. So I'm just happy to be chatting about all things jumping. Jumping with the rope, without the rope, whatever. All of it.
Yeah, I've been putting out some more content over the years, and really in the last little while, actually, I've been doing some more content, and you've started to slide into my DMs with some reactions and opinions and thoughts, and they're super interesting. So I was like, we need to have you on the podcast.
Love it.
So here we are.
Love
Awesome.
it.
So before we dive in, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into jump rope?
Yeah, sure. Well, as you just shared, I did a kinesiology degree with you at UBC, and I took a year off, worked in a research lab on a healthy bone study for kids, actually involved jumping, funny enough. And then I went back to study engineering, and I was like, before I finish another degree, 2 degrees, I was like, I need to get into business, jump into the career world. And so fast forward, looking for something fun to keep active throughout my work. And I was on a hunt for fun communities, fun ways to stay fit. And it's hard when you get really, really busy to make time for cardio and all the things that we need to do. You know, during university, it was easy. We had a gym there. We all supported each other in kinesiology. And as an adult,
you worked at the gym.
I worked at the gym on campus. So I saw athletes training. I saw people getting up early morning. I saw the discipline it takes to be an athlete. And it was really fun to study the material that we studied. But I didn't end up actually working in the field of kinesiology, but I was always still looking for something fun to do in fitness. And I kind of got into spin classes, and I started doing climbing and all different kinds of things. And I found really fun communities in Vancouver, but I never found one that really engaged me and made it really, I don't know, just there was something always off. And I started skiing as an adult, and I was trying to learn, and I love the skiing community. I love how we have access to such beautiful nature, so many things in Vancouver. And I ended up tearing my ACL while skiing, and that threw me into it. This was 12 years ago. And this threw me to a whole new return to kinesiology, this mindset of like, oh my God, everything I have learned before in my undergrad, I'm now having to face off with it. So had to go through a whole process of, waiting for the surgery. And of course, finally getting the surgery. And then once you get into working with a wonderful physio who finally gave me approval to hop. And I am not a good patient, apparently. I just know myself. Lauren, I know all the things we should do. And I was like, maybe I can make jumping more fun. And I randomly picked up a jump rope one day. I walked into Sport Check. I don't remember why, but I thought maybe jump rope could make it fun. I remember Jump Rope for Heart introduced jump rope to me when I was much younger in elementary. And it was kind of like just like counting jumps, and it was like fun, sort of, but it never took me. It never grabbed me. And well, as an adult, late 20s, I took the jump rope to the studio and I started jumping over, and I was like, oh my God, is this like going out dancing? What is this? This feels so fun. And so I ended up jumping, and it really helped me rebuild confidence in my knee. And that was 11, I think it's like 11 years, almost 12 years ago. So much has happened since, but that's how I got into jump rope. There's much more since, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk maybe a little later about rehab and jump rope in
Would love to
that
hear that.
sense. Yeah, well, we'd love to hear your experience too about that path and how it progressed over time in terms of your ACL and your confidence and everything too. So we'll chat
It
a little bit
honestly,
more about that.
yeah, and it just felt fun, Lauren. I mean, it was around that age where people stop inviting you out to go clubbing, where your friends are really busy. Everyone's heads down in their career, doing their master's programs. I think you were doing your physiotherapy program, or you're finishing up. We kind of lost track of each other because everyone just went so full speed into what they were passionate about. I was an individual sports girly. I grew up playing tennis, and I grew up swimming competitively. And jump rope was like this independent way I could kind of just go to the studio and get a workout. So now I'm jumping rope. I coach it now. I love it. I teach a class here, and I run a local meetup community in Vancouver that we started during lockdown. It's free. It's fun. And I didn't really realize that there was really no jump rope in Canada except for in the competitive sense. There was no
Mhm.
community, and it wasn't really taught very much in fitness, except for kind of more like the CrossFit style jump rope or boxing gyms. And so, yeah, so I run a community. We do monthly meetups, and I teach a class, and I love it. And I think, yes, I just think people don't understand what jump rope could be. And so I spend a lot of time explaining it could be a little bit, it's not just double unders, is what I spend a lot of time. Like, it's
Yeah,
not just doubles.
I think there's a
Yeah.
lot of fear around jumping. Like I know a lot of women have trouble with jumping. They start
Yeah.
to avoid it or stop doing it altogether, whether that's because of their pelvic floor symptoms. That's what I hear and see a lot. So leaking, collapse, joint concerns. There's this sort of thought that jumping is bad for your joints or just not feeling confident or coordinated with jumping. So from your perspective, how did we get to this place where there's this kind of negative connotation or avoidance of jumping?
I thought a lot about this because so many people ask me, how many double unders can you do? Once they hear I jump rope, they're like, oh, that's great. Wow, it's such an intense, crazy workout. How many double unders can you do? And it prompted me to look into this further. What do they mean? Double unders are very coming into jump rope from like a rehabilitation mindset of trying to keep it really low impact for my knee, and then feeling more like the footwork side of the jump rope joy, right? I didn't even get into double unders. I didn't really pursue that high impact skill for very many years. But yet many people think of jump rope and they think of double unders. And it's because jump rope was introduced to a lot of adults and millennials like myself, like us, into very intense fitness. It was introduced to us in an intense way through various fitness modalities that are quite intense. CrossFit's an example. It's not the only one, but people associate jump rope with intense performance. How many can you do? Jump rope is often a way to grade people's abilities in their cardiovascular level. And how many doubles and unders can you do are actually used in a competitive sense in CrossFit. So people think it's intense. They think it's often not for them because of that. And I think it loses a lot of people, unfortunately, when they think that your marker of being a good jump roper as an adult is your ability to do a high impact skill like double unders. It's a great skill, but it's an advanced skill. And so if people only knew that there was many more skills on on this journey to double unders, they would feel better about jumping, the potential of incorporating more jumping into their fitness. And they would discover that you can be really good at jump rope, but maybe double unders aren't your thing. So kind of separating that. So people associate jump rope with doubles, with speed, with performance, the reps, the metrics versus the fun, the rhythm, which is where jump rope really has its origins. Community, fun, play, kids, playgrounds, double Dutch communities, and that's really the heart of jump rope globally.
Yeah, I think that's a really good
There's so much
point
time.
of there's so many skills or layers before double unders. And if you approach it very similar to any other exercise, there's a progression, right? And I see a lot in my practice, a lot of women who do CrossFit prior to pregnancy or even during pregnancy, and then they want to get back to that level of function postpartum, and then they're shocked or surprised or distressed when they jump back into double unders. We're blaming the pelvic floor, but sometimes it's just we
I
haven't
think we kind of,
progressed
oh no.
appropriately back to that level again, right? It's very high impact. It's like running, for example. You're not just going to go run 10K right off the hop. You've got
No.
to build your tolerance to it. You've got to build your system's adaptability to it. You've got to build endurance, strength, control. And so I
Yeah.
see a lot in my practice, a lot of women who've done CrossFit before pregnancy or maybe through pregnancy, and then postpartum, they expect to jump back into that level of fitness or level of performance that they had before without understanding that it's actually, it's a layered approach. And they start doing double unders again, and then they're losing bladder control or they're having prolapse symptoms, and the pelvic floor gets blamed, right? I need to do more Kegels, all of these things. But really, sometimes it's just the
Mm.
whole system hasn't been prepared yet enough. We haven't built up in a progressive way enough to that level of impact and that level of skill too. It's a skill.
It is a skill and it's a fitness life skill. That's how I have discovered it. And I didn't know there was a wide variety of skills like this myself until I would say lockdown. When many of us we couldn't work out in the gyms for a period of time. And my journey with leveling up in terms of specific skills and technique and really making jump rope how I jump today, a very sustainable way to jump rope for my cardio and also sustainable for people who I coach to integrate into their fitness routines, however they see fit. Warm up, maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or work up to whatever their goals are, whether it's double unders, etc. What I discovered is that there's a wide variety of accessible skills that were being shared on social media. And I never thought I'd be a social media person. I had a social media account. I thought maybe I might share jump rope one day. I had been looking for communities. I thought maybe about teaching spin classes. I always wanted to teach something fitness related, but I just never found the right modality for me. And going on social media, I was like, wow, I've been missing out for years jumping in the studio on Friday nights by myself, just doing footwork, really kind of double bounce, not even paying any attention to my hands, my wrists, any kind of positioning of the rope or length of the rope. I discovered that there's these coaches, there's people, there's a sport out there, a very early stage sport. We've got a long way to go. There's world championships and things like this, but it's not a declared sport in Canada right now. But there's so many different grades of skills that you can tap into, and coaches were sharing these kinds of skills on social media. And there was one jumper that really inspired me, and she was based in Germany. Her name is Mira Waite. And the way she was holding Instagram lives, sharing Tricky Tuesday skills. This was the heart of lockdown. And she's saying, oh, you can try this like switch cross. To me, I never thought, Lauren, I'd be doing a skill like a switch cross, which is the crossover and then you switch the arms. I never thought I would be interested in that. And in fact, I thought all of that was just kind of too high impact for my knee. I probably should avoid all these jump rope gymnastic skills, these plyometric type skills I see that look so fancy and out of reach, honestly. But seeing how coaches were breaking down the skills into mini skills to me, and then trying them myself, realizing, oh, they're actually reasonable. Oh, they're fun. And you can integrate it into your footwork routines or however you like to jump, was a whole new world. And the rest is like this massive community of people just learning skills together and realizing that jump rope has that progressive set of skills. You can make it low impact, medium impact, and high impact. Never knew that was possible. I just thought it was gymnastics jump rope into the double dutch, super crazy double unders, or kids stuff. And like my thing, playing with footwork and keeping it kind of like tennis footwork style, double bounce, jump rope, thought that was just a me thing. Just a me thing. So yeah, like that.
Tell me a little bit about the value of some of these skills. And
Yeah.
I really like to use the analogy of a ladder. We've got double unders as like the top of the ladder, right? In terms of
Yeah.
difficulty and impact. And there's all these skills that could lead up to it. So tell me some of the benefits and the values of learning some of these skills lower down on the ladder.
Yeah. For sure. I think people approach jump rope with a goal. They want to return to being able to do double unders, or maybe they've never done a double under before. You might have many people training for high rocks or CrossFit, whatever it is they want to do. If double unders are the goal, fantastic. But just know it's an advanced skill. Okay, so let's say double unders are the goal. First thing I'll do is I'll look at their jump rope. Is their jump rope even sized for their height? Is their jump rope too long? If their jump rope is too long, we're going to shorten the rope for their height. That's going to make jump rope easier for them. We're going to reinvent their technique to make it a bit more efficient so it doesn't throw anyone's neck out when they're jumping. And we're going to help them master micro bounces. I mean baby bounces, because the rope is thin, super thin. So you really don't need to jump very high. So teaching people how to engage their core and jump up, pointing the balls at their feet and keeping their jumps really low and mastering that actually is something that adults may not be able to all do. They may be used to jumping too high, bending their knees when they jump. So we just quickly tweak those things. Very, very, very simple. People learn this stuff very quickly. We bring their wrists in and we get them to master the basic bounce form. And the one way that people can do this progression that I really think is helpful is leveraging music as a metronome. Whatever music is that you like, doesn't matter. Maybe something like a 125 BPM house. If you like the hip hop genre, whatever it is you like, rock music, whatever it is you like, simply put on, jump normally, wrists open, wrists at the pocket position, and mastering that basic bounce to the beat of the music, micro bounces. And then from there, incorporating some basic footwork. If people are wanting to do double unders, they need to master technique and be able to have enough stamina to train double unders.
So that's something when I'm working with people who have pelvic floor issues with double unders. Shoulders are up. We're really rigid. We're tense. Yeah, if we're jumping too high, that's going to be more unnecessary impact on the pelvic floor. So just going back to the
Correct.
very basic technique, I think would be so valuable for so many people.
So basic. Music works for people. People like to move to music. We have it in spin class for a reason. I love it. It's my personal metronome. It feels fun. It feels personalized. Your feet are together when you first start to jump. But very quickly, what I'll do is when I'm teaching in my classes, we get people to jump without the rope to start. Honestly, we're not focused on even pressuring anyone to get the rope under our feet. We just want to build that jumping confidence first. And typically learning footwork moves like maybe side-to-side jumps or maybe the X motion jump like this. We might try different kinds of footwork that would allow people to say, hey, I've got that, I've unlocked it, and then we incorporate the rope. So we first master the basic jumping, right? The basic technique. We'll do the basic bounce, make sure people have the rhythm to get over the rope, and then we'll throw the ropes down and we'll try to master some fun footwork, which allows us to do the progressive loading that I think is that people maybe miss out on if they're just trying to go from basic bouncing, basic jumps, feet together, into this high jumping double under. That's what a lot of people do. They're like, oh, I can jump over the rope. Now let me show you how I can jump up high.
Right. So when we skip over that being able to do the basic bounce without the rope and when people put a rope into their hands too early without mastering maybe some of those skills, what do you notice? What tends to break down from no rope to rope?
So from no rope to rope, so people building rhythm is challenging for some people. I don't have a dance background myself. I played tennis. That's my footwork introduction. So already even there, I would say that I'd be coming into jump rope more advanced than anyone. Even if I had never jumped rope before, if I had any kind of like sporting experience, soccer, dance, or tennis, those kinds of footwork related skills growing up, I feel and know this to be the case, that if you have no footwork experience in your childhood, if that's not what you've ever done before, with people, we focus really heavily on sneaking into skills, the footwork skills, through more of like a playful way. So I use the music in my classes. So I'll teach the skills together and then we'll do it in counts, kind of like how dancers teach individuals to learn to do a choreographed routine. So once everyone is comfortable mastering, let's say this set of skills, it could be like feet together, out, in, feet together, out, in a rhythmic fashion. What we'll do is then we'll bring it back into the basic bounce, getting the rope under, and we'll start to try to jump to the beat. Typically, what has to happen is we have to align our hands, our wrists motion with our feet. So the rope actually goes under just before, just like you jump, it goes under, you land. So this rhythm is something people need to build an intuition for. So it takes maybe a song or two for people to get back into it. I do find that when we go from no rope to rope, it is challenging if we're trying to go from, let's say, a more footwork choreography based, like a routine, into doing that with a jump rope. We just break it down to like very miniature one set of skills. Like, can you jump with your feet together 4 times in a row? Or to the beats, like 1, 2, 3, 4, pause, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, pause. And the skills that we were talking about, alluding to, including swing skills, allow us to give space as we build up our stamina to jump rope. So I never knew swing skills were a thing in jump rope. I think I might have seen some people in CrossFit doing some swing skills. It's basically where you're swinging the rope to the side. I saw some CrossFitters doing that, or other people, before I discovered all the social media coaches and the skills they were sharing. But now, more than ever, learning some of the variations of the swing skills, that's a skill that I think is one of the core basic skills. It's like basic bounce and side swings that together can be combined to allow us to build the stamina and the rhythm and the coordination to progress into more complicated, let's say, boxer step as a considered like a more complicated, basic but complicated for some, a footwork routine, and then learning to build the ability to jump a bit higher over time, if that answers
Yeah,
your
those are
question.
3 good points. So stamina, rhythm, and coordination. Those are 3 you
Yeah,
gave?
correct.
Stamina, rhythm, and coordination. And that's something I see a lot too with clients that come to me with symptoms with double unders, is they just don't have the stamina yet to be doing it. So it's not,
Stamina.
where, yeah, the pelvic floor is fatiguing and they're having pelvic floor symptoms, but their whole body's actually fatiguing. They just haven't built up enough stamina yet to do it. And I could see, is it fair to say that when someone puts a rope in their hands, they become less focused on the technique of what their feet, the coordination, the rhythm, and it's just about like, it's almost becomes this goal oriented of just get over the rope, right? So everything else kind of falls apart. Is that fair to say?
Yes, that is fair to say with some. It depends on how you've been introduced to jump rope. Some people in my classes will have remembered jump rope and they're rediscovering it again in their 50s plus age group, and they remember it from childhood. And for them, it's this fun, rhythmic jump rope, musically driven stamina building, right? Progressive skills acquisition, fun unlocks, playful approach to jump rope. For others, they're coming in from boxing or CrossFit, and they will immediately want to do the doubles, but then they haven't mastered some of the basic footwork skills that would empower them to be able to get to the stage where, if they wanted to, they could train double unders. In fact, not just the basic double unders with your wrists open, but swing double unders, cross open double unders. There's a wide swing cross double unders, consecutive double unders. It is incredible the variation of double unders that you can do. 360 double unders. So in order to get to this level of being able to add this level of training intensity, it's easier. Honestly, it's easier to jump into jump rope. Practice your jumping without the rope. Master the footwork skills. Incorporate some fun swings and basic bounce. It's the very basic stuff. Very basic, progressive, fun stuff. Music tells us what to do. We try to keep to the beat. If we don't make it to the beat, it doesn't matter. The actual act of trying helps us improve our jump rope skills, helps us improve our rhythm. I see it in my classes all the time. People, even just the act of trying, people are like, oh, I'm doing the boxer step. I never did that before. Oh, I'm shifting my weight from side to side with my feet together. Oh, oops, I accidentally unlocked the boxer step. So in classes and using music as an inspiration for us, as a guide, it does motivate us to do movement patterns that we never thought we would be able to do, with some guidance and instruction based on somebody's level of experience. Build an intuition of the rope going under us and how our arms need to play with our feet in unison, how it works together. And yeah, I mean, in my class learn, we are not even doing double unders. We'll wait till do double unders way, way, way more. Way long. If somebody's been jumping rope for a year, If they have a volleyball background, Lauren, we can get them to do double unders. But if it's just anyone just wanting to return to activity and jump a bit more, if I just get somebody to do more movement and more footwork, and we dance a little bit with our rope, and they discover that they are coordinated by accident without even realizing how coordinated they are, it's the win. That's being good at jump rope, I feel, is being able to jump maybe even to one song. Jump one song long.
I have a
Double unders.
question. If you were to
Yes.
watch someone do a double under, say on a video on social media or something, what are the biggest technical things that you see people get wrong about double unders? Like obviously we've discussed there's lots of
number one, the rope
skills,
is
build up, coordination, all of that's involved. A lot of people don't have the stamina, the coordination, and the rhythm, but just physically watching somebody, what are the biggest mistakes they make?
number one, it looks painful. If jump rope looks painful, no bueno.
Like their face?
If you look like you're exerting effort, your face is angry, your neck is tense, no double unders for you. Stop, no more. Pause, hold up, come to me. All right, you like rock music, or what's your favorite song? Okay, double unders. You want them? Okay, so tips for anyone. If you have been able to do a double under before pregnancy, you're probably going to be just fine to work back into double unders much faster than an average person. I'm talking, but I bet you there's still things that we could improve. Okay, so
but I see it also a lot.
Typically,
like I see it a lot also in perimenopausal or menopausal age women. They join CrossFit for the first time, and so then this is their first exposure to jumping rope, and therefore double unders, and then all of a sudden it's ooh, I have these symptoms and these issues. Yeah. So somebody who hasn't jumped rope before who's getting into it. Yeah, what do you see?
Jump rope isn't punishment, okay? It's fun, it's playful. It is competitive. In the competitive jump ropers, they count their jumps, speed jumps, they do all of that. It's kind of CrossFit-esque, okay? I understand there is a place. If you are starting and the first time you're getting introduced to jump rope, somebody's like, all right, now we're gonna do double unders, we're gonna count it. No, hold up. First, we got to make sure your rope is sized for your height. We got to got to get your technique sorted. Okay. Most people can't sustain the basic technique, keeping their wrists in. They let their wrists go wild. Their one arm is working harder than the other. We want to even the playing field between arms and movement and get them micro bouncing and sustaining that very, very well. And from there, we will throw the rope away and there will be strength training, right? You need to have a bit more strength and experience and practice with plyometric training. And the way we will learn to jump, to do a double under as a drill is it's called a penguin drill. And you actually jump up, you have to squeeze your bum like a dancer. When you bound, you got to squeeze. And I even point my toes. For me, it's a penguin drill. And we tap our hands at the side of our hips. Tap, tap. To model the rhythm of how the rope would go under. So under, flick, right? So jump up. Maybe I'll make a video for you, Lauren, but you're jumping up and you're just improving your bounding technique. That's without the rope. So we'll do penguin drills. I would recommend if anyone's getting into jump rope at all, should pair it with a strength training program, especially if they've never done strength training before. The best jump ropers all do strength training in alignment. The people who get injured are the ones that jump into jump rope, try to do double unders, and it doesn't matter who you are, what your goals are, you will get shin splints almost right away. You got to have good shoes. You have to train, your feet have to feel comfortable doing this sustained, high intense activity. Just double unders is in place. It utilizes a set of muscle groups in one way. When you learn additional skills in jump rope on the path to being able to do double unders, you're actually developing creating new neuromuscular connections, leveraging different muscle groups as you are on that journey. You're the physio. Movement patterns, utilizing different muscle groups, giving your other muscle groups a break, building your strength.
I think generally progressive overload.
Within a month. Yeah,
generally progressive overload and building capacity. It's a huge rehab principle. We see it in every sport, every activity is too much too soon often leads to overuse, injuries, and issues, right? So tell me a little bit, maybe this is a good time to go back to your ACL surgery and how, your physio cleared you for some jumping. and you picked up a jump rope. So how did that progression look like for you? Did your physio guide you through that progression? What did that look like? Because I rehab a lot of people after lower body injuries, and I always say we have to get back into a jumping phase. Like I had a client a couple weeks ago, and she's older, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I haven't jumped in forever." And I'm like, "Well, your rehab's not done until you can jump again." So it's often a missing link for a lot of people,
Yes.
but would love to hear your personal experience and what that looks like.
Yeah, for sure. My biggest concern was returning to impact because I had no confidence in my knee. I had never had such a serious injury before, and I had no idea really what to do, honestly. And my physio gave me some of these one-legged hops side to side, and I just knew, again, I'm never going to do it. So I need to motivate myself through in a playful way. For me, that's what I've discovered through this process. And so what I did was I just grabbed the rope. I didn't worry about technique. I didn't worry about looking good. I wasn't here to count my jumps. I just put on a song, and I didn't have really a lot of jumping stamina at the beginning. I didn't have anyone watching me. I wasn't trying to be anyone else other than just say, okay, I'm going to do some of the hopping, and I'm going to not be so focused on the outcome. I'm just going to focus on the process. And it felt fun. And I think I ended up doing more than what I was asked of the jumping of my physio. I think I progressed. I actually think I rehabbed my knee faster because I was able to incorporate. So I did like one-legged hops with the jump rope. And again, I had a bit of tennis experience, so I'm more comfortable with footwork, side to side shuffling, that kind of thing. Moving around, forward and backward, skipping, that kind of thing, we did in tennis, but no jump rope. I think jump rope should be in tennis, but that's another whole other podcast. But anyway, I just pretended. I was like, what if I did this tennis drill with my jump rope? And then what if I also made it into this kind of pattern? And so I just built progressive patterns with the rope. I started with the one-legged hops as per my physio suggested. And then I created song by song pattern unlocks, like movement. So first I was in place, Lauren, and then I started doing the side to side jumps, and it's more complicated. I'd have to write it down and show you, but I kept it less structured, to be honest. It was structured at the beginning, but I allowed myself to play with the underlying foundation of the structure of the physio guidelines. I ended up doing more than I think I was asked, a lot more. It did take a number of months for me to sustain doing more than one song long of jumping. I discovered that I did do a little bit too much too soon. I got a bit of shin splints at the early stages of jumping. I just found it so fun. I couldn't stop. I was like, this is a way to move energy that I've never discovered. Like, you're having a little party by yourself. I don't know when do we jump? When do you jump around? Do you ever jump around? Like, do you jump around wildly in public ever?
Not,
When?
I mean, not just randomly in
Never?
public, but I do in my workouts. Like I do higher impact exercises in my workout, or like sometimes going for a walk, I'll jump off a stump or something like that when you're hiking, right? But it's
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't just break out into jumping and skipping necessarily.
You don't just break out into jumping?
No, I
Now,
should
okay,
try
maybe
it.
after you speak to me now. Honestly, it's so fun. It's like you see these athletes when working at the bird coop at UBC. I would see athletes do these fun plyometrics movements. I really didn't know what they were, Lauren. We were studying biomechanics and all of this. I was thinking, this is really intense stuff that I just don't think that's for me. But when I started getting better with jumping rope and incorporating jumping, and then finding out that it felt good, and that I was motivated to continue to practice the rehab exercises as well as do more, I found myself jumping bigger jumps, more dynamic movements, running up and down like when you're in the playground. Kids run with their jump rope. We actually do that in my class. We run around with our ropes in a circle in my class because it's fun. I just thought, why have I never done this before? This is the ultimate excuse to be a bit fun, weird, whatever it is. And it's not structured plyometrics, but it's like a mini version of that.
I think that's great. This is a little PSA for physios out there too, as I see it all the time. Maybe not less so in the orthopedic world, I think still in the orthopedic world, but mostly in the pelvic floor world, especially postpartum. And it's like, oh, you're symptom free and you're feeling okay, discharge, you're good to go. Whereas I've worked with my physios and I said, no, someone, maybe they're symptom free, but have you tested their ability to jump? Maybe they don't want to jump right now. Maybe they're not runners. They're not trying to get back into running. We do have a return to run, return to high impact screen we do as physios. But just because they're not wanting to do that right now doesn't mean that in a year they're not going to go to the trampoline park with their child and then potentially have an issue. If you haven't actually
Oh my God.
trained that capacity postpartum or just in general, jumping is part of life and they might encounter it in the future. And then they're like, wait, what? I thought everything was okay, but I never actually built that capacity back again. Same with orthopedics, right? Oh, your knee, you don't have any pain anymore and you can do all your day-to-day stuff. You can climb stairs, great. But okay, but have you even tried jumping? Have you even assessed that in somebody? I think it's a missing link for rehab. And this is my PSA to if any physios are listening to this, is you got to get your clients jumping.
This is the PSA. We need to return to jumping. In
Whether they say
preparation
they
for
want to do it or
this,
not.
I was literally looking up the jumping study that I was on. No, honestly, this is the thing. I spent, in preparation for this, I looked at the studies that I was a participant on, or the research assistant for, and it was kids jumping in the middle of the day at school. And they were studying how this would impact their impact their bone mass development. What happens to women if they don't jump around? What happens to adults if they don't jump around? Continue jumping when it's still very important to be jumping and doing high impact multi-directional movement patterns from 30 to 45 to 55 to 65. The one incredible thing, Lauren, that I saw in the jump rope community globally, this is a global thing. This is not just Canada's a bit quieter on all these things, which is why we started the community and why it's so important to get people together in person to connect and share skills and really create those relationships, because online can only do so much. But everyone is amazed in our community, at least social media jump rope community, of how diverse it is and how women who are in their 50s, 60s, 70s are getting back into jump rope and using it in a fun way to flow. There's flow jump rope skills that are low impact, incorporating a bit of jumps, more back to some flow, feeling good, feeling their body, building kind of this like movement practice for themselves that's healthy for let's say osteopenia prevention program, maybe even to combat early stages of osteopenia. There's so much to unpack for like later stage here and how jumping can help us. But I think a lot of women postpartum are afraid to jump. This is so important. What if women stop jumping after they have children? What happens? What if they just do biking and you tell me, I mean, you would know, like, what does the research say for women that just do elliptical, just do biking, just do swimming, and don't do really any strength training? What after postpartum? What happens to these women? Is there research there, Lauren, that you know of or you see in your practice?
Yeah, I mean, just generally speaking, as we get older, we lose muscle mass. And so if we don't rebuild that muscle mass, I mean, we lose muscle mass in pregnancy. Everyone does. Even if you stay active, you lose muscle mass in your pelvic floor, full body, but specifically pelvic floor and core function. And if you don't build that back, some people can be asymptomatic. So they're like, this is the thing. Oh, I don't need to do physio or rehab because I don't have any problems. But if you're just existing at a level of activity in your day-to-day life where you're not actually challenging the system, yeah, you might not have any problems right now, but as you age and lose muscle mass, those underlying dysfunctions or weaknesses might start to become more and more prevalent. Or if you take up a sport or physical activity later in life and you haven't built those foundations back, then issues can start to arise. Or again, something as simple as taking your child to the trampoline park when they're a couple of years older, and then you start to notice these issues. So, you have knee surgery, you do physio, that's very widely accepted. You do rehab. We encourage everybody who's had a baby to try to do some level of rehab postpartum too, whether you have symptoms or not, because there is this baseline level of function that is important to rebuild to, ensure that you can function well and maintain not only pelvic floor health, but just, lumbo-pelvic stability, your hips, your back, your lower body function is all controlled by your core and your pelvic floor. So plays an important role in all of those things. Yeah.
And I think it plays such an important role. And this brings me to the one thing that anecdotally people have shared in our community. And I think I shared this with you prior to this. There are some people that have said to me, I pee less since doing all this jump rope stuff. I don't know their exact training regimen. I know that they're very footwork based jumpers. I know that in order to be able to do the kinds of routines we do on social media that you'll see, there is very much a progression. It's like step by step. You master this footwork move and you add this footwork move and you do this, then you might incorporate this and you might use this song as the structure. That's how a lot of people will see jump rope on social media, people doing routines to songs, which is really fun, but it looks very intimidating. But there's always like a slower version, one unit skill, adding the next, adding the next. And some of the best jumpers, I've heard it anecdotally that people want that. I'd be very curious to see, and I wonder if it's an overlooked research area of incorporating jump rope to drive compliance in rehab of any kind, supporting jumping interventions, motivating people to stick with a kind of fitness routine that feels good, that's quick and easy to fit in. Nobody's going to really jump by themselves randomly outside, but it looks okay if you're jumping with a rope. Maybe it feels more natural. And then with some of the progressive skills, perhaps there may be a case to be made or research to substantiate that it may improve the pelvic floor. I'm not 100% sure, but anecdotally, I am curious now. I am
Well,
curious.
I think it goes back to that principle, that training principle of progressive overload. If you are working at something at the right level of difficulty, the right dosage, and you're going to have some symptoms, but if you keep those symptoms below this, threshold level, then as you build endurance, coordination,
Yeah,
capacity, then those symptoms are going to get less and less at that same level of activity. The problem becomes when people try to go from here to here, right? Then they're not progressively overloading, they're just overloading, and then they're just constantly getting symptoms that aren't improving because their system hasn't adapted in a progressive way. So progressive overload, for people who don't know that term,
yeah,
it's progressively adding more or changing your variables like load. So maybe it's weight or speed or volume or level of difficulty of the skill.
yeah,
Picking one of those variables and slowly increasing it, and then not increasing to the next level until you've adapted to that current level. So, maybe you're leaking with like a couple jumps. Okay, well, this is just an example I'm just pulling out, but maybe we stick at that threshold of just a couple jumps and we just keep repeating those couple jumps until that leaking has gone away or settled down. Then we do a little bit more. And then maybe your symptoms have come back a little bit. So then we stay at that level until they go away again. And then we do a little bit more. And that's this rehab principle of progressive overload. And it's the same. You can apply it to
yeah,
anything, not just the pelvic floor. You can apply it to knee. Maybe your knee is a little bit sore and achy after doing a certain amount. So then you need to adapt to that level before you do more and more and more and more, right? It's these yo-yos where we get into trouble, where we're here and then we
yeah,
try to go here, and then we're not seeing, things are just getting worse.
yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense. Is there a way that you find like the most successful for your clients? Do you ever incorporate play music into your rehab process right now? Is that part of any process in rehab at all? How do your clients tend to follow through on what you recommend for the progressive overload? Because I know how I've used it with jump rope. I know how jump rope makes it fun and feel like I listen to my body. It helped me build a deeper connection with how I want to train and how I want to move, because you get immediate feedback from the rope. You get immediate feedback if you've overdone it. You need to take a few rest days. You get the feedback of, oh, I'm getting shin splints or a little bit of plantar fasciitis. It's probably time to change my shoes. Or I really shouldn't have jumped for an hour. Oops. I was having so much fun that I accidentally far more than progressively overloaded myself. I got obsessed with unlocking a skill that was a little bit too much for me that day. So what do you find in your practice right now that helps drive compliance? Is there anything like this? Does this align at all with what you see helpful?
That's a good question. I think it really depends on the person. And this is where the art of physio comes in, because there's some people who just don't listen to their bodies. They need a little bit more of a framework, and they need to be pulled in a little bit,
Yeah.
and they need specific guidance as to how to progressively overload, because they're just chronically in this yo-yoing state when it comes to exercise. They think pushing their body hard all the time is what health is or exercise. And so that, yeah, it's being able to read the person in front of you and
Mhm.
maybe, yeah, what will get them to their goals in a way that's best for them versus somebody who, yeah, maybe is a little bit more in tune with their body and they need a little bit less structure but more motivation, right? Like maybe it sounds like a little bit like someone like yourself, like you listen to your body, you have this understanding of when you overdo it,
Yeah.
and but that framework, that kind of strict rehab framework, wasn't doing it for you. So then finding fun ways to introduce that. So it depends on the person, I think.
There are some people I know in jump rope that need a routine to go after. I get it. They see something online, they're like, I want to do this. That's great. There may be people that you see in your practice who are like, I need to do 100 double unders by some date, whatever it is. 100 would be a lot, by the way. I don't know if I've ever counted myself doing 100 double unders. I just don't think that's fun. I'm sorry. Maybe I could do it. Okay, maybe. But I wonder about the play. I wonder about this. Would it be a part of a structured program? I know there's people that like the structure, and for those people, I wonder how play could be incorporated more, maybe music a bit more, metronome. I know that people speak about metronome training in track and field, and that's cool, but where's the music? People love it. I wonder if there's things that translate between the structured folks and the people who want to achieve, but want to do it in more of like I'm going to do it, but by accident, like a sneaking up on things, right? We know what our goals are. We're not in a particular rush. We're not trying to do double unders yet. We're just trying to get back to jumping to a full song versus maybe someone's like, I must do 100 double unders. It's a different person. It's still, I might be able to get to 100 double unders also, but in a different kind of path, right? What if you could make it structured but still playful? Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's
Yeah,
like you incorporate the play into the structure, and the
I think
structure
that's
people love
great.
it. And then the people like me would be like, yeah, I'll do that. So
Yeah.
it would meet both people.
Yeah, I think that's again speaks to just, I think inherently physio is very structured and we have specific rehab protocols that we follow, right? But I think this comes down to, okay, who's the person in front of you and what's important to them and what do they enjoy? And I think that's something that all physios, we need to continue to remind ourselves that, okay, this might be our agenda that we know is good for the body, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be important or relevant to somebody else. And so I think it's being able to just get to know the person and what do you like? What do you enjoy? And being creative and thinking outside the box and encouraging these things in other ways. And I mean, I think pediatric physios are amazing at this because everything is play, right? Because kids aren't going to do structured, they're going to do 3 sets of 15 clamshells. Are you kidding me? You've got to find creative ways to make
No,
it playful.
that's so funny. I met a pediatric physio recently who has moved into more pelvic floor just randomly. And I mentioned I was going to be speaking with someone like a friend and also an expert in the area of pelvic floor. And she said something about the play too. She said that they utilize this with kids, and jump rope is a kid's fit. It's not a fitness tool. It's something we did on the playground. How many other things did we all do on the playground that I don't know if I could do? Monkey bars. What else do we do? Those are really intense skills that you see people doing in competition, intense fitness, right? I don't know what you would know more about that than me, because
Well, it's
obviously
even like
I'm
something
not a
as
CrossFit.
basic as can you just squat down on the ground and play with things on the ground? Like, can you sit in a
Yeah,
deep squat? How many adults do
yeah.
you know have the mobility to sit in a deep squat? Not many, right?
My class, we were doing it. I was so proud of people that I'm like, wait, first of all, do we have a bunch of hypermobile people here? Like, okay, first of all, keep that in mind, of course, because the way you support a hypermobile person is different and you have to consider
Mhm.
different things within a injury prevention perspective. But they were sitting in a deep squat and I'm just so proud. I'm like, I just so low expectation because not everyone can do this. Not everyone is comfortable deep squat. A
Yeah,
few
I think
people.
there's just some functional skills and abilities that, yeah, we watch kids play and we can learn a lot from them. I think it's great to try to bring that more into rehab because how many people do you know are like, oh, physio, right? Don't love
People
physio. Don't do my physio. Don't do my exercise.
I mean, that's the thing I always wondered about. And again, that's why knowing myself, the bad patient, I just got the program and I wasn't following. I'm like, why am I not following the protocol in an area in which I studied? I studied kinesiology. I should be the best patient, the best. I should be nerding out on this incredible program. You're right. Everyone's a bit different. And that's what's challenging about jump rope and teaching it in a fitness context, which is why there's no fitness jump rope fitness certification in Canada other than the competitive side. There's a reason why jump rope isn't in gyms. People are not sure how to teach it because it requires people to have this progressive loading and to be able to see people for who they are and teach it in a personalized way and in a progressive way, in a fun way. People can come at it from their own structure, playfulness, a mix of both. And there's a little bit of something for everyone. If somebody wants to do a higher impact version of the skill, there's the possibility, right? If they want to do something consecutively, that's great. If there's people that just want to jump with their feet together and do very simple basic bounce, fantastic. Not a problem. Everyone can jump to the beat together in their own unique way. And I think the diversity of skills enables that. You can do all the exercises and achieve all the double under, but consider this. If you really want to do double unders, there's such a fun journey to be had on the path to double unders that you'd be missing out on and also risking injury if you try to jump too fast. So have a little bit more fun in the journey. It's like jump rope taught me, like, there's a journey here. I'm 11 years into this and I feel I have so much more to learn about jump rope, so many more skills to master, so many more techniques, so many little things to improve the transition between skills. It's really endless. So it never feels boring and it always feels like something I'm excited to go do.
Some take homes from today. I mean, definitely progressive overload is one.
Jump without the rope. First of all, get approval by your physio. If you're coming back from, you just had a child, you're returning to activity, your physio, once they give you approval to hop, under their direction, get a beaded rope. Just a simple beaded rope on Amazon. No wire core. Basic, okay? Size it for your height. Practice micro bounces. Incorporate the rope. Put on some music if you like music. Try to jump to the beat. Add in some fun footwork. Play. Don't worry about how you look. Lean into the fails. You get the feedback really quickly. You improve very quickly. Jump rope, we try to avoid the slaps, but slaps happen and we laugh it off. It's just not a big deal. Footwork in jump rope is the gateway into everything. It's the gateway into neuroplasticity, fun, dancing, playing around. Beaded ropes are great because it adds a bit of feedback. It's not too heavy, so you're not going to be tensing up your neck. Have fun with a bit of strength training.
So have fun. Footwork.
Size your rope for your height.
Size rope for your help. Use a beaded rope. Don't jump right into double unders. Learn the skills, practice the skills below that.
Footwork. Discover on social media what's up, hashtag Jump Rope Vancouver, whatever it is. You will be surprised at what you can do with a jump rope as an adult.
Some awesome take homes. So Jacqueline, if people want to get in touch, they want to check out your classes, learn more about jump rope, how can they find you?
Sure. They can connect with me on Instagram at jumping_JACQZ, Jax. My name is Jacqueline. And if they would like to come to any of our free Jump Rope Vancouver meetups, we are planning some really fun ones. We are back in March, so they can follow us on meetup.com or on Instagram at Jump Rope Vancouver. All levels, all ages. Thanks for having me, Lauren. I appreciated speaking with you. It's so fun.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Little TMI and jump rope and
yeah, no, it was a great discussion. So thanks so much for joining us for another episode of TMI Tuesdays. We hope you have a great rest of your week and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye, Lauren.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of TMI Tuesdays. Women's health is complex, nuanced, and deserves better conversations. If this episode resonated with you, I would absolutely love if you followed and subscribed to the podcast on Spotify and shared it with someone who might need to hear it. We'll see you again next Tuesday.